Sexual desire is one of the most intense forces in human beings. It is not simply a biological reaction or an instinctive impulse. It is a sacred energy that can elevate or destroy depending on the consciousness that guides it. Therefore, for the chosen one, this energy represents the most difficult test of all. For it's not just about controlling one's body, but about harnessing an inner fire that has ignited kings, priests, sages, and heroes throughout history. The entire world conspires to unleash this unchecked energy, disguising lust as freedom, presenting excess as a right, and confusing passion with true love. However, the chosen one knows that behind every unbridled impulse lies a trap that can lead him astray from his divine path. For those who do not control their desires end up being ruled by them. This is where most stumble, even those who seek the light. For the body demands immediate gratification, while the soul yearns for transcendence. And at the heart of this silent war, the chosen one must face the most intimate, secret, and dangerous battle, that of not giving in to the mirage of the senses. If you are listening to this, it is no coincidence. You are part of the chosen one's path. Subscribe and comment with your feelings, because this message is for those who feel an inexhaustible energy within them. Sexual desire is like a river. If it flows uncontrolled, it overflows and destroys everything in its path. But channeled wisely, it can turn mills, give life, and feed entire cities. The sages of antiquity knew this secret. Sexual energy should not be repressed, but neither should it be left to chance. It was a fire meant to temper the spirit, purify the character, and forge the discipline of the truly chosen. Ancient texts tell of kings who lost their kingdoms for failing to resist the temptation of a woman, of prophets deceived by sensuality, of heroes who fell into the trap of the flesh. This is not a new subject. It is the test that every seeker faces at one point or another along their path. For it is not a matter of blind abstinence or limitless complacency, but of recognizing that desire is a door to a higher power, and that only those who consciously step through it can access the mystery of the divine. Modern society has forgotten this secret. We are taught to consume pleasure like any other commodity, to expend our energy on actions that leave the mind empty. The chosen one must see beyond this. He must recognize that every time he gives his energy without purpose, he abandons a part of his destiny. But every time he conserves it, transforms it, guides it toward awakening, a part of the universe reveals a deeper secret to him. If these words speak to you, please leave me a comment and subscribe, because this path is not traveled alone, but in community. Sexual desire is the most difficult test, because it is not overcome by brute force, but by understanding. Anyone who tries to repress it ends up enslaved by their own shadows. Those who surrender without limits end up empty and weakened, but those who contemplate it, understand it, and guide it transform the most earthly energy into the most sacred. The alchemists knew this. The lower must be transmuted into the higher, lead into gold, desire into consciousness. The fire that burns must become the fire that illuminates. Thus, the chosen one understands that desire is not an enemy to be destroyed, but a teacher to be transcended. Every impulse that arises reminds him that within him resides an immense power, ready to be channeled to shape his destiny. In the stillness of the night, when temptations seem strongest, the chosen one hears the deepest voice. What will you do with this fire? Will you squander it in an instant or preserve it to ignite your purpose? It is in these intimate decisions, invisible to the eyes of others, that one who truly walks as one is defined. Sexual desire reveals who you truly are. For when no one sees you, without applause or witnesses, that is when your soul faces its purest test. The Chosen One does not seek external recognition. His victory is secret, his strength is invisible, and his reward is manifested in the clarity of his mind. Those who succeed in overcoming their desires become masters of themselves. They no longer depend on anything external to feel their power, for they know that true power comes not from what they take from the world, but from what they master within themselves. Thus, desire ceases to be an obstacle and becomes a bridge to the eternal. The ancients call this the seed of immortality, preserving and transforming vital energy to awaken spiritual gifts. For as soon as you manage to transcend desire, your entire being begins to vibrate at another frequency, higher, more subtle, more connected to the divine. The path of the Chosen One is never easy, and sexual desire is the test that will most often cause him to fall, the one that will tempt him the most, the one that will most often call his destiny into question. But it is also the test that can strengthen him the most, the one that can teach him the most, the one that can most reveal the power he carries within. Each temptation overcome is an invisible victory that accumulates in your mind. Every time you choose purpose over impulse, the universe opens a new door, and you reach a point where you no longer struggle with your desire, because you've learned to transform it. It's no longer a fire that consumes you, but a fire that elevates you. The Chosen One who achieves this shines differently. Their gaze is deeper, their presence stronger. His energy is more magnetic, because he is no longer a man dominated by his senses. He is a spirit that dominates matter. And this is the true secret of those who are awakening. Sexual desire is the most difficult test, because it is the most intimate, the most human, and the most powerful. No one can avoid it. Everyone must go through it. But only the Chosen One makes it a springboard to the divine. This is the sign of those who have been called to transform what others waste, to elevate what others degrade, to awaken what others ignore. The Chosen One does not renounce desire. He transcends it. And in this transcendence, he discovers that what seemed a chain was actually a key, that what seemed a destructive fire was actually the flame that could guide him to his supreme goal. If you hear these words and something within you burns, then you too have been called. For this message is not a matter of chance. The test is before you, and the decision is yours, to walk through the fire or to submit to it, to rise among the chosen or to be trapped like everyone else.